Day number 67. Read the Bible in a year. Numbers chapter 31 and 32. Chapter 31. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Avenge the children of Israel on the Midianites. Afterward, you shall be gathered to your people." Moses spoke to the people, saying, "Arm men from among you for war, that they may go against Midian, to execute the Lord's vengeance on Midian. You shall send 1,000 out of every tribe, throughout all the tribes of Israel, to war." So there were delivered out of the thousands of Israel 1,000 from every tribe, 12,000 armed for war. Moses sent them, 1,000 of every tribe, to the war, with Phinehas the son of Eleazar the priest to the war, with the vessels of the sanctuary and the trumpets from the alarm in his hand. They fought against Midian as the Lord commanded Moses. They killed every male. They killed the kings of Midian with the rest of their slain, Evi, Rechem, Zur, Hur, and Reba, the 5 kings of Midian. They also killed Balaam, son of Beor, with the sword. The children of Israel took the women of Midian captive with their little ones and all their livestock, all their flocks, and all their goods they took as plunder, and all their cities in the places in which they lived, and all their encampments they burnt with fire. They took all the captives and all the plunder, both of man and of animal. They brought the captives with the prey and the plunder to Moses and to Eleazar the priest, and to the congregation of the children of Israel, to the camp at the plains of Moab, which are by the Jordan at Jericho. Moses and Eleazar the priest, with all the princes of the congregation, went out to meet them outside of the camp. Moses was angry with the officers of the army, the captains of thousands and the captains of hundreds, who came from the service of the war. Moses said to them, "Have you saved all the women alive?" These caused the children of Israel, through the counsel of Balaam, to commit sin against the Lord in the matter of Peor. And so the plague was among the congregation of the Lord. Now, kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman who has known man by lying with him. But all the girls you have not known by man, by lying with them, keep alive for yourselves. Encamp outside of the camp for 7 days. Whoever has killed any person, and whoever has touched any slain, purify yourselves on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, you and your captives. You shall purify every garment, and all that is made of skin, and all works of goat's hair, and all things made of wood. Eleazar the priest said to the men of war who went to the battle, "This is the statute of the law which the Lord has commanded Moses. However, the gold and the silver, the bronze, the iron, the tin, and the lead, everything that may withstand the fire, you shall make to go through the fire, and it shall be clean. Nevertheless, it shall be purified with water for impurity. All that doesn't withstand the fire, you shall make to go through water. You shall wash your clothes on the 7th day, and you shall be clean. Afterward, you shall come into the camp." The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Count the plunder that was taken, both of man and of animal, you and Eleazar the priest, and the heads of the father's household of the congregation, and divide the plunder into 2 parts, between the men skilled in war who went out to battle, and all the congregation. Levy a tribute to the Lord of the men of war who went out to battle, 1 soul of 500 of the persons, of the cattle, of the donkeys, and the flocks. Take it from their half and give it to Eleazar the priest for the Lord's wave offering. Of the children of Israel's half, you shall take 1 drawn out of every 50 of the persons, of the cattle, of the donkeys, and of the flocks, of all the livestock, and give them to the Levites, who perform the duty of the Lord's tabernacle." Moses and Eleazar the priest did as the Lord commanded Moses. Now the plunder over and above the booty which the men of war took was 675,000 sheep, 72,000 head of cattle, 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 persons in all. of the women who had not known man by lying with him. The half, which was the portion of those who went out to war, was in number 337,500 sheep, and the Lord's tribute of the sheep was 675. The cattle were 36,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 72. The donkeys were 30,500, of which the Lord's tribute was 61. The persons were 16,000, of whom the Lord's tribute was 32 persons. Moses gave the tribute, which was the Lord's wave offering, to Eleazar the priest, as the Lord commanded Moses. Of the children of Israel's half, which Moses divided off from the men who fought, now the congregation's half was 337,500 sheep, 36,000 head of cattle, 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 persons. Even of the children of Israel's half, Moses took one drawn out of every 50, both of man and of animal, and gave them to the Levites, who performed the duty of the Lord's tabernacle, as the Lord commanded Moses. The officers who were over the thousands of the army, the captains of thousands, the captains of hundreds, came near to Moses. They said to Moses, "Your servants have taken the sum of the men of war who are under our command, and there lacks not one man of us. We have brought the Lord's offering, what every man found: gold ornaments, armlets, bracelets, signet rings, earrings, and necklaces, to make atonement for our souls before the Lord." Moses and Eleazar the priest took their gold, even all worked jewels, all the gold to the wave offering that they offered up to the Lord. Of the captains of thousands and of the captains of hundreds was 16,750 shekels. The men of war had taken booty, every man for himself. Moses and Eleazar the priest took the gold of the captains of thousands and of hundreds and brought it to the tent of meeting for a memorial for the children of Israel before the Lord.
Numbers 32. Now the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had a very great multitude of livestock. They saw the land of Jezer and the land of Gilead. The place was a place for livestock. Then the children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spoke to Moses and to Eleazar the priest and to the princes of the congregation, saying, Altarath, Dibon, Jazer, Nimrah, Heshbon, Elialah, Sebam, Nebo, and beyond, the land which the Lord struck before the congregation of Israel is a land for livestock, and your servants have livestock, they said. If we have found favor in your sight, let this land be given to your servants for possession. Don't bring us over the Jordan. Moses said to the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, shall your brothers go to war while you sit here? Why do you discourage the heart of the children of Israel from going over into the land which the Lord has given them? Your fathers did so well when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to see the land. For when they went up to the valley of Eshcol and saw the land, they discouraged the heart of the children of Israel, that they should not go into the land which the Lord had given them. The Lord's anger burnt in that day, and he swore, saying, surely none of the men who came up out of Egypt from 20 years old and upward shall see the land which I swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, because they have not wholly followed me, except Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite, and Joshua the son of Nun, because they have followed the Lord completely. The Lord's anger burnt against Israel, and he made them wander back and forth in the wilderness 40 years, until all the generation who had done evil in the Lord's sight was consumed. You have risen up in your father's place, an increase of sinful men, to increase the fierce anger of the Lord toward Israel. For if you turn away from after him, he will yet again leave them in the wilderness, and you will destroy all these people. They came near to him and said, we will build sheepfolds here for our livestock and cities for our little ones, but we ourselves will be ready, armed, to go before the children of Israel until we have brought them to their place. Our little ones shall dwell in the fortified cities because of the inhabitants of the land. We will not return to our houses until the children of Israel have all received their inheritance, for we will not inherit with them on the other side of the Jordan and beyond, because our inheritance has come to us on this side of the Jordan eastward. Moses said to them, if you will do this thing, if you will arm yourselves to go before the Lord to the war, and every one of you armed men will pass over the Jordan before the Lord until he's driven out his enemies from before him, and the land is subdued before the Lord, then afterwards you shall return and be clear of obligation to the Lord and to Israel. Then the land shall be your possession before the Lord. But if you will not do so, you have sinned against the Lord, and be sure your sin will find you out. Build cities for your little ones, and folds for your sheep, and do that which has proceeded out of your mouth. The children of Gad and the children of Reuben spoke to Moses, saying, your servants will do as my Lord commands. Our little ones, our wives, our flocks, and our livestock shall be there in the cities of Gilead. But your servants will pass over, every man who is armed for war, before the Lord to battle, as my Lord says. So Moses commanded concerning them to Eleazar the priest, and to Joshua the son of Nun, and to the heads of the fathers' households of the tribes of the children of Israel. Moses said to them, if the children of Gad and the children of Reuben will pass with you over the Jordan, every man who is armed to battle before the Lord, and the land is subdued before you, then you shall give them the land of Gilead for a possession. But if they will not pass over with you armed, they shall have possessions amongst you in the land of Canaan. The children of Gad and the children of Reuben answered, saying, as the Lord has said to your servant, so we will do. We will pass over armed before the Lord into the land of Canaan, and the possession of our inheritance shall remain with us beyond the Jordan. Moses gave to them, even to the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, and to the half-tribe of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorites, and the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, the land according to its cities and borders, even the cities of the surrounding land. The children of Gad built Dibon, Ataroth, Aroer, Atroth Shaphan, Jazer, Jegbaha, Beth Nimrah, and Beth Haran, fortified cities and folds for sheep. The children of Reuben built Heshbon, Elialah, Kiriathaim, Nebo, and Baal-meon, their names being changed, and Sibmah. They gave other names to the cities which they built. The children of Machir, the son of Manasseh, went to Gilead, took it, and dispossessed the Amorites who were therein. Moses gave Gilead to Machir, the son of Manasseh, and he lived therein. Jair, the son of Manasseh, went and took its villages, and called them Havoth Jair. Nobah went and took Kenath and its villages, and called it Nobah, after his own name. They had a lot of people that they had went and destroyed. The Midianites, right? A lot of people were killed.
It's a hard read, but I think the image we need to take from this is God wants us to deal directly with sin and deliberately with sin.
Yeah, the Midianite women who they had basically prostituted themselves with, and there was the person who went and took the spear, and Phineas, and as they were all crying and just repenting before God and just basically realizing, what have we done, this guy comes in and he brings one of the women, and he basically starts having sexual relations with her while everybody else is crying. It's basically just a slap in the face, like a whole such a lack of integrity. And yeah, it was basically just getting rid of sin and just not playing with it at all.
Yeah.
And the fact that they bring back the very women that they'd prostituted themselves with. They're basically playing with temptation. They're surrounding themselves with the people that they had, done this with. And God's saying, no, that's not happening.
Yeah, I think it's you can read this and start getting critical and say, look at how bad God was. But God doesn't want us to play games with sin in our lives. We can so easily go down the wrong path. It's best just to stay away from it, to keep it out of our lives as best as we possibly can.
It's just so amazing just to think from the very beginning, God has just wanted a relationship with us. And he has put down certain rules and regulations to say, don't do this, don't do that, because if you do, you can't have a relationship with me. And so he doesn't want us to be tempted. He doesn't want us to fall into sin because it actually hurts our relationship. It blocks our relationship with him ultimately. This is the reason. And so when they come and they have the women around them, he's telling us today, I believe, to don't play with temptation. Don't, if somebody is an alcoholic, don't surround yourself with alcohol because you're probably going to want to drink it.
Yeah.
For women who want to dress provocatively, well, if that's your temptation, don't surround yourself with provocative clothing, because on a bad day, you're probably going to do that, to get that attention.
Yeah.
So it's really clearing things out around us that are going to cause us to stumble so that we can have a relationship with God, right?
Yeah. In the final chapter, we see they're about to enter the promised land, and the two tribes, Reuben and half tribe of Manasseh, they say, oh, this land looks good. We're going to stay here. Can we stay here, Moses?
They make up an excuse. We're cattle farmers, and this is cattle land. We don't need to cross over the other side to those people who we don't know who they are. I mean, we might die. And Reuben was the leader of the army. They were the strongest army. So for them to stay behind, they were just basically abandoning the rest of the Israelites and making an excuse.
Yeah, and Moses says, how dare you?
Yeah.
Think back to what happened with your forefathers. The entire people was wiped out for 40 years in the desert. Don't put yourself in the position where your brothers are going to die again.
It really made me think about today how when we're about to make a big spiritual decision and so much fear can come into our minds and our thoughts. Oh my goodness. And then we can start, I know that I've done that, where you start making excuses for, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't do it because of this or that, but that God's just saying, be brave, be courageous, do what's right, regardless of what it's going to cause you, the harm that it's going to cause you or whatever battle, but be ready to go into battle because God is with us.
Yeah.
And so we don't have to fear. It's better for us to do what we need to do to help our fellow man. And if that means sacrificing, it means sacrificing. If that means, taking some punishment, that's what it means. But he's saying, be brave. Don't just leave your fellow man to flounder. Do what you know is right to do and know that God is going to be with us.
Yeah, do what's right because God will be with you. So true. See you again next time.